Tonight, when the lights go off, something strange happens. Your room does not really change. The walls are still there. The door is still locked. Your bed is still under you. But the moment the room becomes dark, your brain starts acting like you are not alone. A coat becomes a person. A shadow becomes a face. A small sound in the hallway becomes footsteps. And even if you know there is nothing there, some older part of you does not believe it. Because for most of human history, darkness was not empty. Darkness was where things waited. Modern humans treat the dark like an inconvenience. We fix it with a phone screen, a lamp, a streetlight, a flashlight, or one small switch on the wall. But your ancestors did not have that switch. For hundreds of thousands of years, when the sun went down, the world did not become quiet and peaceful. It became unreadable. The ground disappeared. The trees became shapes. The distance between you and danger became impossible to measure. And your body had to make one decision: stay still, stay close, stay alive. So why are humans so afraid of the dark? The answer is not because humans are weak. It is because humans survived. To understand this, you have to go back before bedrooms, before cities, before lamps, before doors that could be locked. Imagine standing outside at night with no artificial light at all. No moon, no fire, no buildings, just open land, trees, wind, and blackness so complete that your own hand disappears in front of your face. Now imagine you hear something moving. You do not know what it is. You do not know how far away it is. You do not know if it has seen you. And most importantly, you do not know if it is alone. That is the real horror of darkness. Not what you see, what you cannot see. Human eyes are useful in daylight. They are good at color, faces, tools, distance, and tiny details. But in deep darkness, we are not impressive. Many predators that hunted early humans and their relatives were built for the night. Big cats could move silently. Hyenas could smell what they could not see. Wolves and wild dogs could work in groups. Snakes, insects, and other dangerous animals did not need the world to be bright for them to become a problem. At night, humans lost one of their greatest advantages: information. During the day, you could scan the horizon. You could see tracks in the dirt. You could read another person's face. You could notice movement before it reached you. But at night, the world took all of that away. And when the brain does not have enough information, it does something strange. It invents possibilities. This is why a dark room feels different from a bright room, even if the room is exactly the same. Your brain is not only asking, "What is there?" It is asking, "What could be there?" And for an animal trying not to die, "could be" is enough. If your ancestor heard a noise in the dark and assumed it was nothing, and it was a leopard, that mistake could end their bloodline. But if your ancestor heard a noise in the dark and assumed it was danger, even when it was only wind, they wasted a little energy. That is not a fair trade. Nature does not reward the calmest brain. It rewards the brain that survives long enough to reproduce. So the humans who were a little too careful in the dark were the ones more likely to wake up in the morning. Fear was not a flaw. Fear was a night watchman. And this is why the dark became one of humanity's oldest teachers. It taught us to gather. It taught us to listen. It taught us to imagine danger before danger arrived. But then something happened that changed the night forever. Fire. Fire did not just give humans warmth, it gave humans a border. Before fire, night was everywhere. After fire, night had an edge. A small circle of orange light appeared on the ground, and inside that circle, humans could see each other's faces. Outside that circle, the old world still waited. The fire did not destroy the dark. It pushed it back. And that may have been enough. For the first time, humans could sit after sunset and not immediately become part of the food chain. They could cook. They could repair tools. They could watch children. They could talk. But maybe the most important thing fire gave humans was not protection. It gave them a place to put their fear. Because once humans could sit together in the dark, they began doing something no other animal does the same way. They told stories. And this is where fear of the dark became something bigger than survival. A sound outside the camp was no longer just a sound. It became a warning. A shadow between trees was no longer just a shadow. It became a creature. A person who disappeared at night was not just missing. Maybe the dark had taken them. Around fires, humans turned fear into memory, memory into stories, stories into rules. Do not go there after sunset. Do not answer voices in the forest. Do not walk alone. Do not leave the fire. Today, we call these myths. But for early humans, they may have worked like survival instructions. A child does not remember a lecture about predator risk, but a child remembers a monster. This may be one reason almost every culture has stories about things that come at night. Ghosts, demons, spirits, creatures in forests, things under beds, things outside windows. The details change. The pattern does not. Darkness becomes a place where the invisible becomes possible. And the invisible is powerful because you cannot prove it is not there. This is the part people misunderstand about fear of the dark. Humans were not only afraid of predators, they were afraid of uncertainty. Darkness removes certainty. In daylight, the world has edges. At night, everything becomes unfinished. A tree is not fully a tree. A rock is not fully a rock. A human shape may not be human. The brain hates unfinished information, so it completes the picture. And because survival matters more than accuracy, the brain often completes it in the scariest way possible. That is why you can stare at a dark corner and feel watched. Nothing has moved. Nothing has touched you. Nothing has spoken. But your brain has already built the possibility of a watcher. And once that possibility exists, your body reacts before your logic can stop it. Your heart speeds up. Your muscles tighten. Your hearing becomes sharper. You stop breathing for a moment. You freeze. This freezing response is ancient. Many animals freeze when they detect possible danger. Movement gives away location. Stillness buys time. So when you are lying in bed at night and suddenly stop moving because you heard a tiny noise, that is not childish. That is old biology. Your modern mind knows you are in an apartment. Your ancient body thinks you are near the edge of a fire. But there is another reason darkness feels so powerful. Night was when humans were most vulnerable. During the day, the group could move, hunt, gather, build, defend, and plan. At night, the body demanded sleep, and sleep is one of the strangest things animals do. For hours, you become almost helpless. Your eyes close. Your muscles relax. Your reaction time disappears. You leave the world, even though the world does not leave you. This means every sleeping human needed trust. Trust in the group. Trust in the shelter. Trust in the fire. Trust that someone would wake up if something came too close. Fear of the dark was also fear of losing control, because night forced humans to admit something uncomfortable. They were not always in charge. The dark did not care how intelligent they were. It did not care how sharp their tools were. It did not care how brave they felt in daylight. When the light disappeared, every human became smaller. And maybe that is why darkness has always been connected to the supernatural. Not because ancient people were stupid, but because darkness creates the exact conditions where the supernatural feels believable. You hear something, but you cannot see it. You feel something, but you cannot explain it. Someone dies, and at night, you dream about them. A shadow moves, and your mind gives it intention. In the dark, the boundary between the real world and the imagined world becomes thin. And for most of history, humans lived inside that thin boundary every single night. Then, we changed it. Slowly at first. Oil lamps, candles, street lamps, gaslight, electricity, screens, cities that never sleep. We filled the night with artificial suns, and today, many people can go years without experiencing real darkness. Not dimness, not a bedroom with a charger glowing in the corner. Real darkness. The kind where the sky is full of stars because the ground has no lights of its own. The kind where silence feels huge. The kind your ancestors knew as normal. We think we defeated the dark, but maybe we only covered it, because the fear did not disappear. It moved indoors. Now the monster is not always outside the cave. Sometimes it is the shape in the hallway, the notification at midnight, the anxious thought that arrives when the room gets quiet, the feeling that something is wrong even when nothing is happening. Modern life removed many ancient dangers, but it did not remove the ancient brain that expected them. That brain is still with you. It still scans shadows. It still reacts to sounds. It still wakes you in the middle of the night and asks, "Are we safe?" And most of the time, the answer is yes. But your body was not built for most of the time. It was built for the one night when the answer was no. That is why darkness still feels alive. Not because something is there, but because, for thousands of generations, something could have been. Fear of the dark is not just fear. It is memory. A memory older than cities, older than bedrooms, older than language. A memory from the time when the night was not a background. It was an enemy. And every sunrise meant your ancestors had survived it one more time. So tonight, when you turn off the light and the room changes, remember this. You are not afraid because you are childish. You are afraid because a very old part of you is still doing its job. It is still listening, still watching, still waiting for morning. We did not evolve past the dark. We just built enough light to forget how powerful it used to be.